All right, everybody, here we are. Yep, together again at last. Yeah. Let's talk here. Very important stuff I'm going to cover with you. And I'm going to ask you before we even get started to please share this video. If you're part of my team, I'm counting on you to share this video. Share all my videos. This isn't just my thing. It's our thing. All right? Here we go. Let's talk about what's happening here in our market, what's happening around the world. And I want you to be ready for something big. I've alluded to this several times already, but I really want you to start thinking about this in a moment. Let's start off with the basics. So today, an extremely volatile day, but you should not be surprised about this. I explained to you yesterday what was going on. Again, let's back up. We had a 700-point sell-off in the Dow. We regained all that back. I explained to you yesterday what was going on. It was a retest of that high just before the sell-off. Now, what happened today, very, very interesting. Stocks fell like 300 points, 280 something at one point with regard to the Dow. We made all of that back, went positive, and then ended the day lower. The Dow lost about 90 points. That's a second retest in my view. I would believe most of you traders who understand how these markets work would agree. This is what I think is going to play out. We're going to get a third run. We're going to get a third run up here. If that fails, the market's going to sell off hard. Okay? It might not fail despite what's going on. And let me put a perspective on this and explain to you what is the driving force behind this market. We understand, and I feel like I'm beating a dead horse here, but our debt market it's a time bomb waiting to go off. I've explained this to you. I put it in those terms. It's a disaster area. There's nothing positive at all about what's going on in the bond market. And again, our economy is also reflecting what the bond market is saying. Our economy is failing, okay? The policies of the dumbed down are not working. You know what these are. All right, so what do we know is happening right now? A series of world central banks simultaneously have lowered rates. No surprise to any of you that follow this blog. I explained to you that this was going to happen before it did. I'm proud to say that. I keep all of you on top of this market, way ahead, not just on top, but ahead of the market. All right. So, what did we hear today from the president? A couple of things, and sometimes the president throws us clues. I'm telling you the truth. The president, again, I know I'm going to get attacked for this. He's not a stupid man, all right? But he understands what's happening around him, and he doesn't know another way to fix the situation except by adding more debt to a problem. We have a debt crisis. The worst thing you could do in a moment of crisis like this is add more debt or fuel the debt. But he does not know another way, and I think the reason is he's surrounded by imbeciles like Navarro. The president today called for a full percentage point cut to the federal funds rate. Now, the president is already floating out little clues here, people, and I want you to pay attention to this. What he is saying, he's saying, well, it's really not going to hurt the dollar. Okay, there's your number one clue, because the president has explained for a while, for a very long time, that he doesn't like the strong dollar. So there's your clue as to what's coming. All right. Now, so I want you to be ready for a massive, across the global currency devaluation has already started with China. The president is throwing out his clues to you here. Okay. He's telling you, well, it's not going to hurt the dollar. Well, he knows it's going to. He can't directly say it, all right? And he can't directly say that he wants the dollar lower, because then it looks like he's, a globalist, like he's playing into the corporate agenda, for which he is. He is to the highest order. Again, calling for rate cuts, What does that do? It makes the Federal Reserve stronger. Why? What is the Federal Reserve's product? It is debt. Every central bank, their product is debt. The more debt they issue, the stronger they become. It's a very simple concept. Now, we understand China just devalued their currencies. We have a series of central banks all lowering rates at the same time. You think that's a coincidence? I know you're not that stupid. So, the United States, the Federal Reserve is going to follow suit with a new round of quantitative easing. They're not going to call it quantitative easing. It's going to have a new name. I want to talk about that too. But that's exactly what it's going to be. Digital, cash added to a digital screen, buying up the debt to lower the rates. That's how it's done. Just so you know, the Federal Reserve is not magical. They are no more magical than anything else that you could think about. They don't have any power here to just say something and it just happens, right? They have to get into the market. They have to add digits to a screen, print cash out of thin air, buy the debt. So by the president saying the Federal Reserve needs to lower rates, what he's saying is the Fed has to print epic sums out of thin air or add epic sums to a digital screen and buy the debt to suppress the rates, okay? You're not supposed to know that, but this is the way it works. Honestly, I really wish the president would explain these things to people, but he won't do it. You know why? So that's why I'm here, truly. I believe that. But again, that's just part of what's about to happen. So I've outlined for you, really people, and I would love to hear from you. How many of you believe that I really do have my hand on the pulse of this market, all these markets? I really believe I do. It's true. What can I tell you? And if you follow my blog, I would find it hard to believe that you would disagree with that. I've outlined things for you before they happen so many times, it's frightening even to myself. But again, I study these markets around the clock, which makes me insane. That's also a fact here. So what we're going to witness here, again, it's already begun with China, is a mass currency devaluation. If you've been following this blog for all these years, you already know exactly what to do. Okay, I'll say it again for the quadrillionth time. Bet against the debt. Become your own central bank. I also believe, and I know I'm going to get attacked for this, cryptocurrency is the place to be as well. Dollar alternatives is the place to be. Fiat currency alternatives are the place to be. Okay? Now let's just talk about a few other things real quick about, I just alluded to how more quantitative easing, like we have not seen yet. This is going to be the mother of them all coming. It's coming to a theater near you. Wherever you live in the world, your central bank is about to embark on this. So pay attention. Massive currency devaluation. What does that mean for you? You're going to have to start paying a lot more for everything. Your interest-earning accounts, most of the world, even here in the United States, are actually earning in the negative. President Trump calling for a 1% cut. Probably won't get a 1% cut right off the bat, maybe a 50 basis point cut. That'll make sure that your interest-earning accounts will go deeper into the negative and you'll be robbed blind, all in an attempt to prop up the stock market. That's why the currency devaluation is the next phase. The weaker currency makes everything more expensive, even shares of stock. So it gives the illusion that the stock market is higher. You understand? Maybe higher in digits, but in terms of purchasing power, you can see what I'm talking about here. Now, again, we're going to get a retest, in my view, a third attempt at this market. If the market doesn't break through, we're going to drop, and then you're going to start to see even more desperate measures put into place. Again, rate cuts, quantitative easing, currency devaluation on an epic scale. All right, so again, going back to what I was trying to say about names being changed so it won't be called quantitative easing. How many of you know that subprime lending is here now? So it's not being called that. With regard to mortgages, it's not called subprime anymore. It's called non-prime. So it's been going on for quite a while. People aren't supposed to know that. Now, with regard to credit cards now, that is actually being called subprime. Goldman Sachs is now offering credit cards, an Apple one, to subprime borrowers. Now, let me ask you, who's going to pay for it in the end when the subprime meltdown happens? Again, repeat performance along with everything else, you're going to pay for it. And there's no doubt about it. So what I would suggest you do, start making noise. Start tweeting the president like you have no idea. Why? Every time this crosses your mind, go to the president's Twitter and just tweet him. Mr. President, how is currency devaluation good for me? How is the Federal Reserve cutting rates deeper into the negative good for me? What do you think about the yield curve, Mr. President? Now, things like that. Let's see if you get a response. Because I guarantee you will hear zero. Zero. Remember I called him zero yesterday? People are asking me, hey, Greg, why aren't you calling the president zero today? All right, well, I will address that real quick. I thought about it. Out of respect for the office, he's still a zero, but I will call him the president. Again, you're not going to hear anything from zero, but that's a whole other thing here. So look, let's just sum up real quick. With regard to the stock market, we're going to get another retest in my view. Will we break through? That remains to be seen. It depends what stories are floated out there. Did you watch this today? Earlier in the day, the president said that China talks were going well. Not a half an hour later, not even a half an hour later, he said, well, China talks could be canceled. I don't know what you call that, bipolar. I have no idea what that is, but it's very interesting in my view. With that said, again, so a retest, I believe a third run-up is going to happen. We're going to have to watch that. We can capitalize on that and trade it. I made 2 trades today, both profitable. I'm a happy guy. With regard to world central banks simultaneously lowering rates, no surprise to you, although it's a big surprise to the confederacies of dunces on the mainstream channels. They're just shocked. They don't understand what's going on. Again, they weren't given the correct script. Even Steve Leisman is like, do you think that central banks should coordinate, Steve? Steve, you're kidding me, right? You think this is by coincidence? You really are dumb, huh? Okay, there you go with that. But the big one here, and I want you to be ready for it, and you know exactly what to do. You know what to do already, okay? Global mass currency devaluation, which has already begun with China. People, with that said, it is Friday. I'm going to leave you off with what I usually do. I will see you over the weekend for my Markets to Look Ahead segment, but I'm going to leave you off now with love each other, care for each other, and be charitable. I cannot stress these things enough to you. If you're part of my team, I really hope you're adopting that. With that said, if you're part of my team, share this video. Get it out there. I'm counting on you. And I will see you over the weekend. I honestly love all of you. I'm out of here.